What's up, guys and gals? This is Chris from Legendary Mana, and it's time to debate Dryad Arbor. And not just any version of Dryad Arbor. This one. From the vault. Not this one. This one, which I think is ugly, and I won't play this one. I'd much rather play this one. I have a preference. Magic the Gathering, we have plenty of different versions of cards. We have the opportunity and afforded the option to choose the type of art that we would like to play. This shouldn't change. A lot of people want this art banned. Why? Now I can understand the reasons. Oh, it looks too much like a forest. The power and toughness is too small, but it's also the same size as every other card in Magic the Gathering history. But at the same time, let's go ahead and let's think about their argument for a minute. It looks like a basic forest. Sure, it has a forest in the box. Okay, understood. But let's take a closer look. Does the word forest look like the same length or type as Dryad Arbor? I don't think so. When I'm looking at across the table, and I've done it about 10 times before I started, well, probably, let's just not talk specifics, but I did it plenty of times before doing this video. And looking across the table at a Dryad Arbor versus a forest, there's a clear, distinct difference in my eyes on how it reads. Also, there is this green indication marker on the card next to the type. Do all basic lands have this dot marker next to the type of card it is? I don't think so. I haven't seen it before except for on the Dryad Arbor. And I'm talking about basic lands now. I think there's just too much hubbub about this rule. Or I should say this art to, I don't know, warrant a ban for this art. First and foremost, let's take a look at the footage and let's understand what happened here. So Thomas just played Daybreak Coronet. Gabriel, not likely either seen the card before or hasn't seen that printing, picks it up, reads it to understand exactly what that card does. In competitive Magic, that's very, very typical. And if you go play at F&M or any of the other places, you see a card that you have not seen before, you are going to pick it up and read it. So now we're going to move on to Thomas's second main phase, and he's going to play Dryad Arbor. Now, here's the problem, and we'll get to this in a minute. This is actually placed in the wrong place.
Remember, that's a Dryad Arbor, again. Tricky, but quite relevant, especially in the face of something like the menacing Flameblade Adept on the battlefield. Now it might be quite tough.
One thing to note, the announcers have also recognized the card in the battlefield. Now, they're looking at a screen and not sitting at the table, so they have a much smaller view of the battlefield. Now let's go back and let me explain why I say Dryad Arbor was placed in the wrong spot. Dryad Arbor is placed in the wrong spot. It's placed next to the lands. Dryad Arbor, which is a creature, should be placed where the creatures are. For example, let's look at MTGO playing Boggles in this same instance. The player has Dryad Arbor in hand. He's going to play Dryad Arbor for turn, and it's placed in the creature slot. That is the rule. That's where it should be placed. So this becomes a problem with rules enforcement and not the art of the card. Dryad Arbor is supposed to be played in the area where creatures are played and not where lands are played. That is the rule. That is how it was created, and that was designed purposely, so then that way that alerts the other player that that is a creature as well as a land. Now, I know there's going to be some debate about this. There's going to be some people who are going to be complaining that, no, it's just sucky art or what have you, and I get it, and I completely understand. But I think at the same point, you can make the same argument about other cards like Shambling Vent or any other manlands that almost look the same as other cards. Let's take a look. Can you tell the difference between these lands and say which ones are Shambling Vents and which ones are not? How about now? How about now? Now, don't get me wrong. I completely understand the argument of getting rid of this particular art version from the game. At a glance, without paying attention, yes, it looks like a basic forest. But we as players, we as judges, and we as responsible Magic competitors need to do several things on different levels. First, REL rules states we need to announce our plays as we play them. I imagine this wasn't announced as playing Dryad Arbor. Next, Dryad Arbor needs to be placed in the creature slot and not the same place as lands because it is a creature land. So, therefore, the judges should have been able to point that out and say, hey, sorry, but that needs to be played in a different spot. Finally, as the opposing player, before I do any other action, I make sure I know what was just played. Whether it's a basic land, what basic land was it? Is it a man land? What man land was it? What is its features? What is its options? What can it do? How can it affect my board state? Now, again, yes, I get it. There are many, many years of Magic, and people have played Magic for a very long time. But that does not make us immune to making mistakes. And I think making mistakes does not, should not influence how a game should either be played, whether a card should be banned, or whether a card is fair or not. Because it is up to the players, the judges, and the competitors to understand the board state and make sure that everything is done as fair as possible. Now, I do imagine some of you will have a different opinion than I do and could disagree with what my position is. But understand this. If we start banning cards because of their art and thinking that they're deceptive, then let's just think back about those other cards that also look very similar in color and type. We could then start making arguments about those. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this issue. Does this card art need to be banned? Is this a judge issue? Is this a rules enforcement issue that the player should have been sort of, warned about or given a warning or something of that sort? What do you think should have happened in this situation? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you like the video and check out some of our other videos. We got some cool stuff going on here, and we're doing some changes. And by the way, 1K Q&A coming up soon. But I really, really wanted to get this video out today because, well, this was a real hot button issue this morning when I opened up Twitter Sphere. So until next time, I bid you farewell.